But Sarge, why you always gotta talk about motorcycling? Sarge, why you don't never talk about nothing else? Look here, man. If you gonna do all that crying, what the baby gonna do? I was asked the other day, hey Sarge, why you never play any fast music on your podcast? It's simple. I'm petty. Hey man, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It's your boy Sarge with another episode of I-10 to the end. Man, welcome aboard. We're glad you guys have made it. Let everybody know that we're on. It's the Iron Elite Podcast Show. Let's go. Morning, everybody. Hey, man, before we even get this thing started, man, let's take this time to give the Lord a round of applause for waking your dusty butt up, you dig? Hey, man, y'all know what it is, man. It's Iron Elite Podcast Show with your boy Sarge. I'm on this morning. I'm excited, man. I got the coffee. I'm ready to roll. Hey, man, but what I've got this morning is a very, very special edition. Okay, y'all see Sarge in the background. He ain't got the normal motorcycle stuff. Because when she came on and told me how a get down was going, I said, I got to show her my get down as well. It's the Texas Women Army Veterans Edition of I-10 to the end. I got her on this morning, man. I'm going to bring her. I'm going to see if I can wake her up and kind of see what she's got going on, man. But we getting ready to talk about some stuff. We getting ready to talk about going coast to coast on a motorcycle. Man, that's crazy. Who in the world ever thought of something so crazy like that? Just saying. Sword, you mean you got to ride all the way? Yeah, you got to ride all the way. But let me see if I can wake her up real quick, man. Let me see. I think I got a fam. How are you this morning? If you don't mind, let's take a second to introduce yourself to everybody and tell us a little bit about you. Oh, matter of fact, I see she in a business uniform today, too. What's happening this morning, ma'am? How are you?
Oh, good morning, Sarge. I'm Dr. Lisa Jackson. I go by Dr. Duchess. I live in Dallas, Texas. And yes, I'm an Army veteran, served 8 years in the Army. I'm an avid fisherman. And as you can see from the get up, I'm a flight attendant. It's my retirement job. So I'm out here flying. I'm over here in D.C., but I definitely wanted to make it on the show this morning.
Hey, that's what's up. I appreciate you because she got things to do. So we probably ain't gonna hold her too long today because she got people to get places and things to take around the world, man. So she's doing her thing. But let's do this first and foremost. Doc Duchess is rider number 232. Let's do this real quick. Yes, ma'am. That's no easy feat. Okay, so let me see if I can remember. You had to take your motorcycle from Central Texas. Was it Killeen? Was it Killeen, Texas?
No, Dallas. I rode from Dallas.
Okay, so you had to take your motorcycle from Dallas all the way to Jacksonville to just start. Okay, now you're here in Jacksonville. That's
right.
That's somewhat over 1,000 miles from Jacksonville to Dallas. What, about 1,100? I think it's about 1,100.
Yes.
So you got to take your bike 1,100 miles and say, okay, good to see you. But now we're starting here. So then you have to take your motorcycle from Jacksonville, Florida, on the most southern trajectory across the country, all the way to Santa Monica Pier, California. And then, oh, by the way, once you thump your chest and you feel good and you've done great things, oh, by the way, you got to take your motorcycle back to Dallas, Texas again. So if my math serves me correctly, you did over 6,000 on the odometer. Am I correct? I think she.
I I didn't look, but it was over 5,000, but I can't remember
Yeah, you did
right
a
now.
lot. Yeah, you did. You did a lot. Hey, take it from your boy. You did a
Yeah.
lot. So let's set this up. Okay, so first and foremost, you guys were a tandem. It was you and Nicole. And by the way, I think Nicole is. Let me see where she's at. She's number 233. Let me do this real quick for her. Okay, so for transparency's sake, we couldn't get you guys both on at the same time. There was some scheduling conflicts and things like that. So we're gonna be able to talk about you guys ride separately, but we're gonna touch base that you guys did ride as a tandem, especially leaving Jacksonville. So let's take it from here, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Doc Duchess, okay, from the time you thought about this, okay, from the time you registered from the ride for the ride to the time you started the ride, how many days did you get to prepare?
I've actually been thinking about it since last year. I was supposed to do it, and because of scheduling conflicts. But when I registered, I think it was maybe less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I remember, for those who don't know, so you're at the Ground Pounders reunion, Iron Elite paying tribute to Black History Month event last year, and you saw and you saw a bunch of people flexing and popping collars and stuff with their shirt, and I think you felt some type of way. Am I correct?
I didn't like that.
Hey, it was
Correct.
on
I
and
was there
popping.
this year, this past one, and I'm like, oh, I need to do that. I
It
felt
was
left out.
hey, it was on and popping. So you've kind of had this on the radar for better than 11 months. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we do. Okay, so we get ourselves registered, we get ourselves in position because for those who are pilots and flight attendants, we know those guys keep a very busy schedule with all the stuff that they have to do with flights and those kind of things. So for her, this is a thing that she's got to move here and cross some T's here and dot some I's here to make this ride happen for her. So you start preparing yourself. You've rode long distance trips before, am I correct?
Correct. I have.
Okay, so
And we had just made the Arizona run a few weeks before.
that's right. We saw you out at Arizona Soul Brothers. Great time, great time.
Mm,
So for most part, you were already prepared for your ride. So if you don't mind, let's take us through a preparation phase. If I was a rider for the first time seeking to ride across the country, what would you start telling me to do to prepare myself for the ride?
Well, for a new rider, I tackle every ride as if it's the first ride. So I make sure I don't assume anything. So I always have my bike checked out. It was time for a 10,000 mile service on my new road glide. I got 3 holes. He always does a check of everything before I go out. So I'm always comfortable that if something happened, most likely it won't be my bike. I also up to 10 days out, I start looking at the weather. I use an app called Morecast and map out my route. Once I'm out on the ride, I also look at it daily because things can change, especially with the Texas weather and going through that as being the largest state. Also, I line up my contacts. Wasn't good at that I tell people to prepare for is those gas stops. And I can't say that I wasn't warned. Sarge warned me, Low Key warned me, Heather warned me, Kool-Aid warned me. That's what I was lacking. But definitely my route, which is already defined, gas, weather. And I made sure that I had gear that I can layer up and adjust for every possibility, whether it was rain, cold, or heat.
Okay. You just said something that was interesting to me. You said Morecast. Let's talk about that's an app, right?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about Morecast. What does that do?
Morecast allows you to put in your starting point and your destination and what time you plan to depart, and it maps out the weather at that given time that is estimated that you will reach any city in between.
Very nice. Very nice. Because for those who have not made this trip, and for those who are getting ready to make this trip, man, I'm telling you, I don't care what you think. That weather will change on you in a heartbeat. Because you're traversing quite a few states, and Texas is about 12 damn states by itself. And I don't know. You tell me, Duchess, is it fair?
Right.
Texas, Texas, the weather can go from hot to cold to rainy to windy to tornadoes to whatever. Am I correct?
In the same day. In
In
the
the
same
same
day.
day. So I think that's a pretty cool. So the app is called Morecast. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Can you spell that out for me if you don't mind? Morcast.
In, no, Morecast.
Okay, bet. Got that. We'll try to shoot that out, man, and shoot that out in the link after the show. Let everybody get a chance to take a look at that app, man. That's a pretty good piece of gear to have. So, other than that, do you use any other GPS tracking apps?
For tracking, I use Glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
I also use the Apple Maps, and I also use Google Maps sometimes if I need to maybe go off course sometimes. So I always keep one with my end destination, and sometimes instead of just adding a stop, I'll just bring up another map. But I also have multiple because some gives you hazards, some gives you route changes, and I know on this one we can't use it, but it's good to know what they anticipate ahead of you. Some apps are better than other. I used to use Wise, but Apple Maps has come a long way with notifying you of things.
Okay, very cool. So, also, pit crew. And you had a big pit crew. You had a good pit crew, too. You had a very good pit crew. So, for those who are out here who are viewing the show this morning, we call it a pit crew.
Hmm.
Explain to the audience what is a pit crew and what's their value on riding long distance.
You mean those that you can call along the way?
Yeah, we're gonna explain them. Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
Okay, so you always have to have those that you can call. And I always say when I glimpse people, I always glimpse the ones that I know that's gonna come get me. Um, so I have people along the way, people that I've met on this journey of motorcycling, that would either house me, that would pick me up, feed me, that I can call for the smallest of things, like when my whatever that cooling cover came off. But I have
Yeah.
somebody to call all the way.
Well, I think what she's saying also, I'm gonna just caveat on that if you don't mind. A pit crew is a
Mhm.
person who cares about you. They can't be in your
Mm,
pit crew if they don't love you. Those are wrong people to put in your pit
correct.
crew. A pit crew is a place, again, somebody who's going to monitor your ride. Somebody there that's, if needed, is going to be there for advice. Somebody that's going to be there, if needed, a place to sleep, a meal, perhaps pull up on you at a gas station and ride with you for a few miles, knowing that you're tired and need some inspiration with you. Maybe be there if something happens on your motorcycle where they can provide assistance for you, whether it's repairs, recovery, what have you. A pit crew is a person who loves on you. Understand out there,
Correct.
everybody's listening. Don't put somebody in a pit crew that don't care about you. Do not. And you notice how Doc Justice said, hey, I only send my glimpse to people I think care. Because some people you'll send a glimpse to, they're like, yeah, okay, good to go.
And
Nice
I'll
of you
never
to
view
share. And they're
it.
never going to deal with you again. So we've
Correct.
established what a pit crew is. So in this case, for you guys' ride, you see you had Kool-Aid, of course. You had Reef, am I correct? You had uh well, I probably shouldn't
Yes.
even do this name. You
I
had
had
who?
Gorilla Blue.
Gorilla Blue. Shout out to Gorilla Blue.
Gorilla Blue, check.
Okay.
Low Key.
Low key, shout out to Low
Um,
Key.
Abel from Unleashed Speed.
Hmm.
Do Dirty from Psycho Nights.
Yeah.
Uh, Want to shout out to my mechanic Austin, who always answers my calls. He knows when I'm on a trip, and so he always answers my texts and calls when I'm out there. Austin McCarroll Automotive out of Waxahachie, Texas. The only person I let work on my bike. Um, oh, of course, my girls back home. I have Special K, DeLoca, Mrs. Kevy Kev. When I say every time I go out on a ride, they support me and check on me.
That's what's happening. So it's apparent to me because those names you name, I know quite a bit of them. It's apparent to me that you had a very skilled, experienced pit crew. So shout out to the pit crew, man. Shout out with those guys. Where would we be on the road without our loving pit crew? So let's spin this if you don't mind. We've talked about the GPS apps. We've talked about the pit crew. When we say, well, I packed everything for all weather, Sarge. Okay, what does that mean? A swimsuit, a nice pair of jeans, slacks, some Jordans. So let's talk about the riding suit. What kind of riding suit or what kind of chaps or whatever you had, what did you pack and what did you use while you were riding during your trip?
Okay, so I have a King Tour pack, and I pack lighter on the personal and heavy on the riding gear. I don't ride with a suitcase on the luggage rack. I don't need anything on my back seat. My King Tour pack and my saddlebags is enough for me. I ride in tights, something that's can cling to me and tight. That way I can layer up easily. I always wear my heated gear, whether I have it on or not. And then on top of my heated gear, I'll have all leather. I'll have my chaps and my leather jacket. Um, if I had to come out of some layers, sometime I'll come out the leather and just have on the heated top, or I'll take off the heated jacket and just have the leathers. If it gets too hot, then I have on long sleeve shirt or short sleeve shirt and have on sleeves, but I'm always going to be covered up. Also, no less than four pair of gloves. My cold weather heated gloves, two full fingers. So if one gets wet, I always have a second pair, and I have my half gloves. Um, have my neck gaiter, which I didn't have on when I came to Florida, and that's how I got sick with this sinus infection, taking in everything. Always have extra pair of socks because it will get wet. I have my heated insoles for my boots. Uh, Always a second pair of boots because I've actually gone down the road and one pair got so wet, them Harley boots, that sole came off. I rode the rest of the way with one tennis shoe on one foot and a Harley boot on the other. So I
Say you
learned my
didn't do
lesson
that.
about that.
Hey,
I did.
damn it, why did you take a picture of that one? I would have loved to seen that one.
I
But
know.
I caught what you said with, we talked about layered up. If you don't mind, let's take a couple seconds to talk about layered up. When you say layered up, you say you wear a what do you wear underneath? You say you wear like a nylon uh, shell. Am I correct? Or nylon type outfit that goes underneath. Is that what you're
No, I
saying?
wear just tights and long sleeve shirt.
Tights. Okay, so you wear the tights and then you wear a long sleeve shirt. It's like so the long sleeve shirt. Are you wearing like a nylon shirt, or you wearing a cotton shirt, or like the whisk away type shirts, or the cool out shirts?
No, nothing particular. Just a long sleeve black shirt. I'm always blacked out on the road, but no, it's just
Okay.
any long. It could be a t-shirt. It can be the fleece line, depending on the type of weather it is. But it's just long sleeve.
hmm I suggest to anybody, whether you're riding in the summer or the winter, to wear a some type of base layer. In the summer, you can wear the cool out suits that you can buy from Cycle Gear. They're kind of like the whisk away. They keep the moisture in and they breathable, uh, so you don't chafe and those type of things. And then in the wintertime, obviously they do the opposite side to be able to provide as a base layer on your skin to kind of trap heat. So when you put your medium level layer in your outer layer, whether you're going in three layers, it kind of helps to kind of really insulate and keep the body heat in. So on you guys' trip, did you guys deal with quite a bit of cold, or was it pretty mild temperatures your trip?
I couldn't have prayed for better weather.
Yeah, you guys were
Um,
pretty nice.
we
Yeah.
missed all the rain going through Louisiana. we caught some rain coming into East Texas right before Houston, and some steady rain, but nothing that would wash us out. All I did was put on my rain jacket. I didn't even put on the rain pants. But other than that, I think somewhere around New Mexico, Arizona, early in the morning, it got pretty cold. But it still wasn't that bad. I think I only turned on my suit once or twice this entire trip, and it wasn't for long, and it was on low,
Wow, good for
just because
you.
I wanted to be. And there's no
Just
reason to
because
be
you want to be
miserable
real
out there.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Just so, and I remember on the health side, I remember you took off. I thought you did get caught up in some rain pretty bad. Was it on the Panhandle?
No, we missed all of that.
You missed all. You were just
We
dealing
didn't
with
get any
all
rain
the.
until Houston.
You were just dealing with all the pollen and all the foolishness coming through the southeast. Am I right? That kind of got your sinuses kicked up because you got pretty
Hmm.
sick. Yeah, you got
I
pretty
did.
sick on the road. And for
Yeah.
those that don't know,
Enough that I
she,
had to go get a shot.
yeah, she soldiered on because I was and I never say never. Sorry, never say never. But I remember, I think you were probably still in Phoenix, Arizona, and you and I talked on the phone. And don't get mad at me. You ain't sound good. You ain't sound good at all.
I
And I was like, wow, wow. And you were like, no, Sarge, I'm gonna get these shots and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do and I'm a soldier on. Sorry, that's what soldiers do. I'm a soldier on.
oh yeah, I was.
Yeah, yeah, because you were
When you
hurting
gonna
pretty
tell them
bad.
what you said? I told you it sound worse
oh,
than I looked,
oh, right.
but you remember what you said to me, right?
Are we in a trust tree? Are we in a trust tree right? What? Tell me about.
Yeah,
Try it again.
yeah. Try it again. Like
Oh
I'm
yeah. I
like,
told.
Sarge, you don't know me.
Yeah, I told her because she was sick. Everybody, she was really sick, and you know how it is. You just you want to be very compassionate to people when they're going through stuff, health, and those type of things, and you don't want to be the person that push an issue with somebody because obviously safety is the most important thing out there. But that just say, I'm going across
That
that
ain't what I
line.
said, but okay, that's
Uh,
the clean version.
well, yeah, she said some other words. Y'all just put in the extra words, but basically she said hell, high water. I'm coming across that line, and she did her thing.
Oh
So
yeah.
so with that being said, let's do this. Because I'm gonna tell you this: the average person would have went ahead and took that get out of jail free card and went in, took it on to the crib and packed it up and called it a day. So shout out to you for that. So you know again. So let's break it down like this because I know I don't have you very long. Let's talk about. Let's do
Hmm.
this segment. Let's do the good, the bad, the ugly, and then we'll finish it up with lessons learned and things that you want us to know getting ready to do this ride. So we'll do good, bad, and ugly. We'll go ahead and do that real quick.
Hmm.
I'll let you start it off in any order
Okay,
you
so
want.
okay. The good part of the trip, I will say that I couldn't pray for better weather to make it that far. So that was the best part of the trip is having the good weather. Um, the bad, I would say, was getting sick. It's not good to be out there, but Sarge, I appreciate the empathy that you've shown me in that and giving me the alternative. I also knew I wasn't going to do that again, but I was prepared. I had my meds with me. I do suffer from chronic sinus, so I knew that. So that was the worst of it. I do appreciate you told us from day one. You give us 7 days to complete this because anything can happen. And one of the things you said was you can get sick, not just your bike going down. It can be something personal that happens, and you need that couple extra days. And I had to take them 2 extra days to get to a point where I can at least breathe out there on the road. But that was the worst part or the bad part of the trip. Um, where I'm at the ugly. Where my anxiety went to 1,000 was when I was running on fumes in West Texas, being hard headed, and didn't know if I was going to make it to the next gas stop. So that was the ugliest part of the trip. And that's a scary feeling to be out there.
Let's since you brought it up, that gas has been the albatross for us for the last 3.5 weeks. And it's always in the same place. It's in the gauntlet. It's the gauntlet, for those that don't know, is west of Bernie, Texas, all the way to El Paso. And in some cases, it can go a little farther than that, but that is the main artery of this thing. And you will mess up if you take anything for granted back there. Okay, Doc, did we have
Mhm.
a cheat sheet? Did we have a cheat sheet? We didn't
You
have a
did.
cheat sheet. Okay, we had uh, I exit the gas app. Did we
I
have that?
just learned about that while I was out
Okay,
there.
okay, and we were warned, right? We were warned.
I was warned.
Okay, take us through that scenario? What happened to you that almost made you run out of gas back there?
Okay, so I got to be completely honest. When I got about a half a tank, that's when I started looking. But I was on my phone having a whole conversation, and somehow Nicole said I missed two stops, and I'm like, okay, I didn't see it. So by the time I got down to the red, the light coming on, I wasn't quite at the low range yet. Then I started looking, and then I realized, oh, Harley will tell me where the gas stops are. So I started relying on the Harley app to tell me where the
Yikes!
gas stop was, and started going
Yikes!
back to the list that Sarge provided me.
Yeah.
And it took me to a ghost town, then 5 miles south of I-10. Then it took me 13 and a half miles north of I-10. They only had four pumps, two pumps didn't work. But yeah, believe me, I own that part. But I
Hey,
should have did better with watching for the gas stop or just following what was given to me.
hey, let me ask you, when that was going on, the first thing you want to do is get off the phone, turn down your music, because you think all that's going to help conserve gas. Because you know it's getting really real now, right?
Yeah,
It's getting really real. So what time of day
yeah.
was that when that
Because
was going on for you?
it was in the middle of the day. We left. We left Katy, Texas, late that morning, around 10 o'clock in the morning. So that pushed us in that. That was that first fill up. So a
Yeah,
couple hours down the road, we was right in the middle of it,
there it is,
West
just like
Texas.
that, just like that.
No, I take
So
it back. We was past San Antonio. San Antonio. We was a couple hours past San Antonio.
okay, okay. So I'm telling you, it happens just like that back there. So for everybody that's getting ready to ride, and oh by the way, I got a few of them getting ready to ride. Not tomorrow. Yeah, I do. I actually do. I have the West Coast edition. I have SoFly Kai and Roslyn. They're taking off tomorrow. The two ladies are taking off from Santa Monica Pier, headed to Jacksonville, Florida. And I have a group that are leaving out Saturday morning. I have three that are taking off Saturday morning. So, hey, they're coming right behind you. So I hope somebody's watching this video right now and understanding what Doc Duchess is telling you is for real now. Don't be playing around. Don't get caught up and get clowned. Because if you run out of gas back there, we're gonna help you. We're gonna give you assistance. But you getting clowned. Yeah, you gonna get clowned. You finna get that
Right.
whole clown. So Doc, let's do this. Let's take it into home. What is your final takeaways and
Okay.
what was lessons learned from this trip for you?
I would say lesson learned is know your daily limits. I'm used to riding. I've ridden 24 hours nonstop. I've ridden 18 hours, 16 hours a few weeks before. But when you think about doing it day after day after day, you can't ride your max amount of time on less energy. So I had to know that when I fell short, it was okay. Just regroup, come up with a new plan for the next day. So the first day when I went from Dallas to Jacksonville, I didn't bed down in Jacksonville. I got right back on the road when we left you all, Sarge, and went to Tallahassee. So I rode 18 hours the first day. And I think I posted it on Low Key's page. It went downhill from there. The next day was 14 hours. Next day was 13 hours. Finally, the last day was just 12 hours. So know your daily limit, and that it may go down each day, and so just plan accordingly. Be flexible. I had set up lodging along the way. We fell a few hours short of San Antonio. We fell a few hours short of Phoenix, so we had to bed down at an alternate space. But again, that pit crew, I had somebody. Oh, Cowboy, I got to give a big shout out to Cowboy of Buffalo Soldiers out of Houston, who came through for us and got us lodging one night. But just be flexible while you
Okay.
out there.
Okay. Anything else? Are we good?
No, thank you. Thank your wife Dee for always answering my texts and questions, and being there along the way, because I know we've had to call you a couple of times out there. Um, so I appreciate that. After the fact, I say it wasn't grueling, but definitely while I was in it, that was a grueling trip. It definitely tests you emotionally, mentally. It put a strain on some things, um, but you can make it. You can get through it.
Let me ask you this, just a quick question. After this trip, do you really understand now? And I'm asking you a hypothetical. Why we call it the social experiment?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
It, it. Most people still think, and I'm really saying this for people that are out here that are listening, that are viewing the show, and that for people that are getting ready to make this ride, they really do think it's about just miles. It is not about miles. It really is about each one teach one in every facet. It'll teach us about relationships. It'll teach us about ourselves. It'll teach us how we deal with adversity. It'll teach us how we deal with achievement. It'll teach us how we think about things, how we analyze things. It'll even help us with some of our critical thinking ability. Is that fair? And
Correct. I agree.
it never is the way you planned it in your mind before you started the trip. Is that fair? We can plan.
It really is not. And it's a combination of all your skills that you've applied on previous rides, because this is the longest ride as far as the number of days that was involved to go out and get back home safely. But it's definitely a test. And being number 232, that meant there was 231 before me, and there's still things to learn and that you can share. Everybody's perspective is different.
That's
Um,
facts. That is facts. But hey, man, we ain't gonna hold her because she gotta go fly some people across the
I
world.
gotta go fly.
Doc Dutch is 232. Let's do this. Dom DeMarco. Man, we had to give her a Dom DeMarco. She ain't gonna get no round of applause. She getting a Dom DeMarco. Let's do one more time. Dom DeMarco. Ma'am, I want to thank you so much for caring enough to share your ride with us. And I think it's fair to say anybody who makes this ride and accomplishes this ride, you're not doing it for yourself, not by for yourself alone. You're doing it for all those people that are right now viewing this, that are thinking, I might be able to do this. I might be able to pull this off. And with people like you, Doc, you're showing us each and every day, I can do this, man. All I need to do is take these tools this lady has given me, taking the things that she experienced and putting it together in my own toolbox to be successful, to make this great ride. And oh, by the way, see the country. See the country. Is that fair, Doc?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well,
It's a
thank you.
beautiful scene out there. I even had a segment of video where chasing and chasing trains out there. Beautiful
Yeah.
sight.
Was that in New Mexico or El Paso? Somewhere out there. It's somewhere probably
Yeah.
come across the Great Divide. All
Yeah,
them damn,
somewhere.
them trains be like 3 miles long. Like, what the hell? Them trains be longer than some of the cities that you go through. Hey, but Doc Duchess, we're not gonna hold you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for giving us your energy, and we wish you the best. Safe flight today, and don't let them little kids crying and all the foolishness you go through on that plane. Don't let them get on your nerves.
Oh no. Actually, I'm coming your way. I'm coming to Florida today.
Oh, that's what's happening. So it's the Texas Women Army Veteran Edition of I-10 to the end. Doc, be blessed, salute, and much love. We'll see you on the next time. Take
All
care.
right, bye. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day. Bye.
Okay, so there you have it, man. Number 232, Doc Duchess, Lisa Jackson, man, came through, made it look too easy. Got it done. We have some more riders that are getting ready to launch. Forgive me, the 3 that I have launching on Saturday is going to be Edwin Abrams, Michael Brett, and Joe Fan, man. So they're going to be getting it in. The ladies that I'm going to have launching tomorrow is going to be Keisha Brown and Rosalind Lewis, man. So they're coming through tomorrow. They're coming from the West Coast. The fellows are coming from the East Coast, man. So it's going to be a great journey for them this weekend. I want you guys to lock on. I want you guys to support them, show them all the energy and love, man, and that's to encourage them on and safe travels on their trip, man. So they'll be getting ready to take off here soon. A couple quick notes. Excuse me. My sinuses are starting to act up. A couple quick notes. June 8th, we're going to be having a nice small 200 patch anniversary at Adamak Harley Davidson here in Jacksonville, Florida, at the Bay Metals dealership, man. If you guys can and you're in the local area, please come by 1:30 p.m. for the patch, the 200 patch anniversary or ceremony that we're going to be doing then. So it'll be a great time to network, to be able to share stories, to be able to encourage one another on. And oh, by the way, let's get to see each other again. Any excuse to ride your motorcycle to see each other, man, is a great, great excuse to give. So we'll be having that again, June 8th, Adamak Harley Davidson here in Jacksonville, Florida, Bay Metals Boulevard, man. So 1:30 p.m., be there, man. So look forward to seeing you guys there. For people that are interested in taking part in the social experiment, the Each One Teach One, I-10 end-to-end coast to coast. The link is in the description. The link is in the description on YouTube, as well as the link is in the Iron Elite Home of the Ground Pounders Reunion Facebook page. So take the time, please go on that link. It'll give you all the details and the information that you need to register for that ride. We look forward to having you guys. Things are starting to kick up really, really big time here. It's May. It's Motorcycle Safety Month. I'll be having Nurse Tiffany on Saturday evening, 6 p.m., I believe, and we'll start pumping her show here momentarily. She's going to be on with me on the podcast, and we're going to be talking everything motorcycle safety, how to take care of yourself, how to do quick triage on the highway if something happens, if you get a slip, trip, burn, whatever. She's going to be talking to us on how you be able to handle those things while you're in the road, how to be protective, how to be preventive when it comes to the medical side. So, hey, man, I know it's starting to get warm. I know we're really starting to get out there on these motorcycles. I encourage you to be safe. Wear the proper PPE equipment. And that's protective, preventive equipment. Please, gloves, boots. Don't be rocking out there with them Air Jordans on, man. I'm just telling you. They look good on the parking lot pimp or the parking lot pull-up, but they're not good on the highway, man. We've seen bad things happen with sneakers flying off people's feet. gloves, helmet. Hey, man, I don't know what to tell you, man. I know some people are going to rock it the way they're going to rock it with no skull cap. I'm going to wear a helmet. Wearing a helmet, nothing says I love my family more than putting a helmet on my head. I'm just saying. Hey, the choice is yours, man. Some states you can rock with no helmets. Most states you got to have helmets. So start taking a look at those things, man. If we want to ride and be able to ride for a long time, we live to ride. We live to ride. Let's do the things that we need to do to live to ride. And shout out for all the guests who came on and supported us today. Retro, man, great things you're doing out there, man. I appreciate you 100 grand. Thank you, sir, for being on this morning with us. Breezy, thank you, brother. Keith Robinson. Keith just came back from the I-10 to the end. Appreciate you, brother, for coming on with us this morning. DJ D. Redder, we appreciate you, man, for everything that you do for the platform. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting and giving all the energy and love to this platform. Without you guys, man, we would not exist. Thank you for all the people who continue to share the page. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm not going to hold you. Man, it is tough. And what I've learned more and more, I can't do it by myself. But boy, when I get a team behind me, such as you guys, man, you guys give this thing a shot of adrenaline, man, and take this thing into the next atmosphere. And thank you for all those I-10 to the end ambassadors. Low Key, Reef, I should have done this now. I'm going to start remembering all the names. GQ, Becky Tart, Kool-Aid, just to name a few, man, who constantly checking on our riders, making sure our riders have information, making sure our riders don't run out of gas because they don't understand what the gauntlet are. Thank you to all those people who've taken it upon themselves to be warriors to make sure that our I-10 to the end riders have as much support as they possibly can have on that I-10. Because it truly is a team sport, man. It truly is. Doing this stuff by yourself is way harder than having a crew with you. Having a crew with you helps you to be proficient and it helps you to be safe. So thank you to everybody. And if I can ask, if I can ask one more favor, for those who are watching us this morning, for those who are going to be watching the show in the future, if you can continue to share the page, share the YouTube, Sarge Life and Motorcycling, shooting subscriptions or hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button. I know to you, maybe, okay, hitting the like is just, okay, man, it's goofy, whatever. I'm watching the show. I'm supporting the show, Sarge. You really don't understand. Hitting the like button, what it does is it increases the algorithm. It lets YouTube know. It lets Facebook know that there's activity that's being generated from that particular video. And it helps to kick that video out to more and more listeners, viewers, etc. It really does. They have control over who sees what content. Just because Sarge gets on the mic and he broadcasts it to everybody doesn't mean it's being broadcast to everybody. The activity really pumps up the broadcast to everybody. So just think about that when you're watching the show, you're viewing the content. Hey, man, hit Sarge a like so it can continue to be pumped out there to everybody. If you're watching the YouTube, hit the subscribe button if you hadn't done it already. For those who have, thank you very much. For those who haven't, please feel free to do that so you can get a notification every time that we go on live and you can get the latest content that we have. I'm continuing to work on the YouTube channel, trying to bring it as up to date and as modern as possible so it could be something that of quality that you guys can be pleased to go and visit and be able to take in content. I'm going to be bringing more and more guests on and doing more and more interviews and talking about things that are motorcycle related. I've had some people say, Sarge, you ought to bring some things on that's not motorcycle related. Hey, no disrespect. This is a motorcycle podcast. This is a motorcycle channel. This is our lane. This is our lane. This is what we do. Now, from time to time, we might talk about different issues where I had Frescobar on, Pablo Frescobar, where we talked about PTSD, because those are things that we deal with in the motorcycle community, of our veterans, of our first responders, for our people who've dealt with traumatic things. So those are issues that we deal with that, again, helps us in our motorcycle community get information. There's going to be some other side things that we're going to have that's not going to be specifically catered to motorcycle riding, but it's going to have a lot to do with the motorcycle rider. A couple other issues, and I'm gonna be off this podcast here in a minute. The Titan Award. Now, last year I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, Sarge, why wasn't this person nominated? Why wasn't that person nominated? I heard you. I understood you. So this year we created a link for everybody to be able to come and use and be able to nominate whoever you so please, as long as they qualified within the rules of the Titan program. For you to take that link, to fill out that link, it takes, 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes at the max, if you're really doing a great job with it, and nominate a person that you think has what it takes to be a Titan. Now, we've had quite a few nominations, but we really need to have more. We really need to have more. I think so far, I'm going to take a wild guess, and I apologize. I'm sure the wife is going to correct me. I think so far I've had about close to 30, and I've had a lot of, repeat nominations, which is good, because that tells me that a lot of you guys like a lot of the same people. But I should have about 100. I know there's well over 40 people across this country that are doing great things in our motorcycle community. So let's get those nominations in, man. Let's go to the top of the page, the featured section of the Iron Elite page, and go ahead and pull that link down and fill that link out today. If those people are important to you, if those people are doing great things like you tell me they're doing in my inbox, or text me and tell me, or call me, or when you see me at the gas station, when you're telling me that stuff, if they're doing those great things, you wouldn't mind filling out that link and doing them a solid and nominating them for a great award. I think I've covered it all. Host Hotel for the Iron Elite event, February 8th, 2025, for the Iron Elite event, for the Penn Tribute to Black History Month event, for the Ground Pounders reunion, for that event, February 8th of 2025. The Host Hotel is filling up really, really, really. It's no joke. It's filling up. There are a few rooms left, not a ton. And we're not playing the game. Oh, man, we filled up. We only got one room. I'm not playing that with you. It is filling up. This is no lie. Please, the link is in the Iron Elite page in the featured section at the top. If you can't find the link, inbox me. I'll go get it and I'll shoot it to you. I'm going to put it on the podcast as well for the event on the YouTube. So I'll have it in the description as well. Go ahead and do the link, fill out the link, and go ahead and reserve your room. It's the weekend of February 8th, 2025, Jacksonville, Florida. Go ahead and get your room now, because I know at least two of my homeboys, I love you to death. One of them live in Arizona. One of them live in Cali. And I know you guys going to call me 2 days before the event and say, Sarge, what's the link for the room? And, man, I'm going to tell you like I tell you every year, man, boy, if you don't stop playing, go ahead and do it now. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. And if for some reason you have to cancel at the last minute, it's no big deal. As long as you cancel, most of the time I think it's 24 to 48 hours prior to, nothing will get tapped on your credit card. No harm, no foul. It's better to have a room and then all of a sudden don't need it and have to cancel or give it to somebody else than not have a room and then trying to find a room at the last minute. Don't do that, man. That's for suckers. Don't do that, please. I think I've covered it all. I don't think I have anything else. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. Happy Thursday to everybody. Man, and I need everybody to stay safe. May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Have you done what you need to do to go through your checklist to make sure your motorcycle is safe, to make sure when you get on it, it's safe? If you hadn't, please take that time to do it now. And lastly, if you're doing the I-10 to the end, you better, I'm not asking you, I'm demanding that you do it. You inspect your motorcycle. A 3-hole punch is not maintenance for a 5,000-mile plus trip. That motorcycle needs to get up on a ramp. You need to get underneath the undercarriage of that bike, and you need to inspect that bike from tire to tire. You should have a mechanic, if you're not mechanically inclined, to take a look at that bike and pay him whatever it is to get that bike fully inspected. You cannot afford to play with your life. Don't play games. If you got half tread wear life left on your tire and you know you finna get out of here with $6,000 on the odometer, man, put some new tires on that bike or have it set up. Shortly thereafter starting that trip, put some tires on that bike. And I'm gonna tell you this, it always, I don't know what it is, it seemed like putting tires on the bike during the trip is a lot more expensive than putting tires on the bike before the trip. I'm just throwing it out there. It seems to work that way. And if you take off with some tires that might have a third of the life left, and you say, Sarge, I just want to get a little bit more out of these tires and get a little bit more value. You don't understand all the construction that's going on the I-10 or the 40 or the 20 or the 75 or 95. You don't get it. And there's a lot of debris and foolishness on that road that will chew a tire up and will increase or shorten the tire life wear because of all the debris and stuff that you're dealing with on the road. Please don't be a volunteer. You know, we used to always say in the Marine Corps, there's victims and there's volunteers. Do not be a volunteer. Sometimes you just can't help from not being a victim, but you damn sure can help not being a volunteer. So figure these things out. Do what's best for you in your life. Do what's best to make sure that you can come home safely, because no motorcycle ride or mission is complete until you made it back to your front doorstep. I don't want to be preachy this morning, but man, these are some things that we have to talk about. We have to talk about taking care of these bikes, inspecting these bikes, and doing the right thing to assure that we stay safe on that road. The social experiment is the other portion of the ride. I got a podcast coming soon. I'm going to have some major players. I'm looking at next week of doing it. I'm thinking maybe Tuesday, where I'm going to have some major players that's going to come on. And the name of the podcast show is No Man Left Behind. No Man Left Behind. And you can just plug in woman too. We're going to be politically correct. No man or no woman left behind. The uncomfortable conversation that we have to have before getting on the road. The uncomfortable conversation. What happens if this happens? What happens if something happens to your bike? What happens if you get sick? What happens if we don't get along? What happens if the weather gets bad? What is our, in the Marine Corps we used to call it, what is our contingency plan if everything doesn't go right? My old sergeant major used to say this. When you get to whining and complaining and talking about different things, he'd say, so you're trying to tell me the enemy has guns too, and they're trying to kill you. You got to have a contingency plan just in case something go wrong. That's the beauty of the social experiment, is because we supposed to be talking to each other and being able to have plans for grown man and grown woman type scenarios that happens on the road. If I have a catastrophic thing that happens to my bike, my motor blows, what are you going to do, guys? Are we going to sit here and wait on Sarge and feel sorry for Sarge? Are we going to have Sarge get in a rental car and follow behind us and cheer us on and carry waters? and then come back on the back end and get his bike when we come back through? Or we're going to leave Sarge there at a hotel while they're working on his bike and perhaps Sarge catches up with us? Or we're going to give Sarge a Greyhound bus ticket and let him go back to the crib and let them fix on his bike and eventually he has to fly and go get his bike later? What are we going to do? Does Sarge have AAA or I think the towing service is Good Sam or Good Son? Does he have a towing package? Does Sarge have an ESP? Does Sarge have insurance? Does Sarge have medical insurance? Does he have TRICARE? What happens if Sarge gets in an accident or gets sick? He has to go to the hospital. Do we know what the deal is with Sarge? Do we know who to call if Sarge is sick and he can't move? Who do we call? Who do we allow? Who do we let know in the network to contact Sarge's family to make sure Sarge's family knows what's going on so we can get him the proper help and attention that he needs? Are we doing those things? When we say we have an emergency savings or emergency credit card, well, y'all got $500. Man, we know $500 on an emergency credit card for a cross-country run is not an emergency. That ain't enough, player. We've already talked about on a good day when nothing goes wrong, this trip is about $1,500 to $2,000 when nothing goes wrong. So when things go wrong, you might as well just go ahead and multiply that. Have we talked about the uncomfortable conversation? Well, Sarge, you don't ask me all that stuff. I'm grown. You don't get in my business. But I guarantee if something goes wrong, we're all going to be in your business at that point. And if I respect you, I'm going to be willing to have the uncomfortable conversation with you about me and about you to make sure that we're all on the same sheet of music. That's brotherhood and sisterhood. So with that being said, man, I'm about to go. I got to get my behind to work, and I know you got to get your behind to work too. I appreciate everybody who tuned in with us this morning. I appreciate it to Doc Duchess for being on and giving us some of her time because she's got to go fly the friendly skies. Shout out to everybody, Bad Love. GQ, I'll see you soon. Man, for all my guys who are getting ready to get out of Dodge and do all these great activities in the month of May, y'all be safe out there, and we'll holler at you guys. Keep it motorcycling, you dig?
This is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, and your 2024 Titan. You are now listening to Sarge on the Iron Elite podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. If you're not listening to the Iron Elite podcast, what are you really doing? Because we are talking motorcycles over here. You dig?
Hey y'all, it's Snacks reminding you to tune in to the Iron Elite podcast. You dig?